5 minutes? Okay.
Mention that the quiz.
That's up on the YouTube screen. I got the PowerPoint for you. I got videos for you. Karina made them. Oh, Bob said there was some link to a video he wanted.
Wow.
There's 3 new young people visiting.
These people over there, are they new?
They're from Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
I'll come back.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I did send a note to the board.
Oh, okay.
But I literally hung up from watching videos. Literally got off the phone as we pulled in at Bath Beach. My phone rang. Bob.
Oh, okay.
He was calling to tell me kind of what was going on about the COVID.
Oh, okay.
And
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
yeah, I mean, knock on wood. I thought, well, I identity exposure, and I've been with so many cubic feet of air in this place.
Yeah, that's probably
pretty safe.
Yeah.
And
I think, oh yeah,
I think people need to know, yeah.
I got a video. It's just so you know, it's gonna take like maybe 30 seconds to get it loaded.
So do you want to tell us when you're loaded?
No, I can't preload it. I'm gonna have to wait until we get to it's time for the video, and just so you know,
Oh, okay.
I'll be loading it. It's just you gotta give me a second. That's
So
all.
your first video would be what, the prelude?
Well, I have all of Bruce's videos in one. They're all edited together so that I can pause it. So when you try to have multiple videos, it's kind of an issue with the software. So I'll have to back out of Bruce's, go into yours, play it, and then I can go back and load Bruce's for the final.
Well, Bruce's is the only video you're going to, although I have one before the offering.
Actually, it said it was after the offering and before the sermon. Yeah, so I have it.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
I'll give you this, Bob, when I'm done my part.
I'm just saying, be patient. That's all. It's gonna take me a couple seconds to get it going. Yeah. Because that poor little computer and our little tiny internet package, it's working hard with live streaming and loading all the videos.
Yeah, it like,
You just gotta give me a second.
Yeah.
do we need,
You'll have your video.
If you're ready to go,
in weeks, so watch out.
Go ahead and
we
start.
probably should go ahead and start it.
Yeah. Look, we're about ready. Good idea. Oh, you gotta pour it like a bartender, like you mean it. Or cut that hole.
Okay, let's go ahead and start. We just got the word from Bud Sterling.
I don't know what goes on. Okay, so he does the prelude first, right, before we start? Yeah.
Why don't you hit the gong so people will know we're about to start?
There we go. Okay, thank you to Bruce Ruby, who I believe is watching us on YouTube. If everybody wants to wave and thank him. Beautiful music. Good morning. Welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation here in Stuart, Florida. Today is June 26th, 2022. My name is Regina Wood, and I'm going to be the worship associate today. We are a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, ethnicities, ages, and backgrounds. It's wonderful to see all our vaccinated members and friends here in the sanctuary. And as I said earlier, we're also on YouTube. If you would like to be put on our email list or to find out more information about the website, go to tcuuc.org. And also, there's a link there that you can go to, and it'll put you on our newsletter. We have every Friday we put out a newsletter, and it tells you everything that's going on that's upcoming. If there's any visitors here, if you're comfortable, you can come up and let us know who you are. Anyone want to?
Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer. I used to I found out about Unitarian Universalism when we lived in College Station, Texas. It was like 4 years ago. So I really enjoyed being a Unitarian Universalist there. I was very active, and so I'm just kind of coming back into the church and just re-exploring. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm the husband.
Robert.
Thank you and welcome. Welcome. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joshua, and I'm just new to Unitarian. I was raised Baptist, and then I switched over to Methodist, and then I switched over to non-denominational. But I'm here. So.
Okay, yay. Welcome. Just a message to please silence your cell phones in case anyone forgot. And we have some announcements. These are upcoming things. One thing that we have after the Sunday service is our Sunday coffee hour. And you are invited to stay after the church for refreshments and to mingle and maybe meet some of the people that are here. We also have a Zoom book club. It's very active. It meets every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Currently, we're reading My Brilliant Friend by Alante Ferrante. If you would like to join the group, please contact John Morn, who's here. He's at John Morn, JMORN, at bellsouth.net. Is that correct? Okay, and there's also a link in the Friday newsletter if you would like to join us. So it's a very active group. We recently finished 1619, which is a very, very powerful book. We also have our Rev Bob MacDonald has a Zoom current events on Fridays at 11 a.m. And they talk about, which we'll all be talking about a lot, what happened, what current events happened that week. If you would like to join Bob, email him at Bob Mac, MAC 1214 at AOL.com, and it's also in the Friday newsletter if you need the link. On Tuesday, the 28th at 4 p.m., we're having hors d'oeuvres here. So if you like to bring a plate and a beverage and yourself, it's just a nice time for people to get together and share. There's also our brown bag lunch bunch, and that is the first and third Tuesday of each month. It meets at the Memorial Park in Stewart, 300 Southeast Ocean Boulevard. And again, it's in our newsletter if you like more information about that. So we have a lot going on, and we hope everybody will participate. We want to give a big thanks to those who have helped with the service, to our buddy Bruce up in Rhode Island now for the music, our greeters and ushers. Thank you, Janet, who's just always there when you need her, Janet Grote. And also our tech whiz, Chris McCann, who is also filling in for Karina at the last minute. So we really appreciate Chris's help. And thanks to Marguerite Gregory, who is in charge of the coffee and snacks after the service. Thank you, Marguerite. All right, now we will have our chalice lighting. Reverend Bob will light the chalice. In a time of grave challenges and uncertainty, which sometimes seem too much, we light our chalice to remind ourselves of our grounding in our faith. We remember that the flaming chalice came into being as a beacon of hope during World War II, a secret symbol that offered help. In the midst of it all, we wrap ourselves in the warm light of a familiar flame, a reminder of the strength that emerges when we come together in community. And now our opening words. These are We Bid You Welcome by Richard Gilbert. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come in hope, with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome those who are a seeker of a new faith, who come to probe and explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome those who enter this sanctuary as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people, our congregation, a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. And now if you'd like to, if you want to stand to sing or sit, whichever you're more comfortable with, we're going to sing This Little Light of Mine through our mask. And it is in hymn number 118 in the hymnal, in our hymnals. I'm not sure if it's going to, if the words are going to be up or not. Yeah, so there's also books in the back if you don't have them, but this is in the gray hymnal book 118.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. There'll be a fall world, I'm gonna let it shine. There'll
now we will do our affirmation. Let us recite our affirmation. First, we speak the first verse, and then we sing the second one through our mask. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now we sing. Okay. Okay, well, we'll sing it ourselves. Oh, no, here it goes. Let faith and hope and love arise. Let
Beauty, truth, and good be sung
from
every land, by every tongue. Amen.
And now Bob will do the joys and sorrow.
If we seem more challenged than usual this morning, it's because we are. But challenges are good. This is our time to express joys and sorrows. We do that in the hope that as you share yours, you will know you are heard and are supported. We ask that they be personal and that they be brief. I have several to begin this morning. I got this from Judy Sciolone. My husband, Phil's health has been declining for a long time, and this morning he will have surgery. I am with him at hospital. I hope he can come through this, but then I'm afraid there will be pain. So sad to watch and not be able to help. Please put a stone for successful procedure and freedom from pain. Judy Sciolone for her dear Phil. I didn't mention that after your joy or sorrow, we ask you to move a stone. I also have a message from Janet Rader. They got back from a trip. Jerry contacted COVID, tested for it, and positive. She says he had at least one difficult day. We just arrived home. Thanks for checking in. So certainly Jerry Rader, we trust he's on the way to recovery and has a wonderful nurse looking after him. Also, Karina, you've maybe heard or you're hearing now that she tested positive this week and can't be with us, but she told me this morning, I can tell you she's feeling better, she's resting, and is on the road to recovery. So those matters of concern and care I pass on to you. I also got these from Laura Lesh concerning the GA. The GA is the national body of our denomination, the UUA GA, which is just concluding this morning, and she wanted me to share these. We were delighted to see Reverend Mary Catherine Mourn again up on the big stage, giving an awesome annual report for the work, progress, and aspirations of the UUSC. To think we just met her personally in April when she led a service for us. Laura reports, we were thrilled to witness Reverend Claudia Jimenez receive her final fellowship during the service of the living tradition, which is a real honor for any UU minister to attain. Claudia did her internship with us, TCUC, a few years ago before graduating from seminary and was loved by all. And I think she's still one of the ministers at the Asheville UU. That's my list. Now feel free to come to the mic and share yours.
Yes, good morning. I'm Judith Watt, and I'm going to say a big hello to Tia, who's still at home. Hi, Tia. Watching us, yes. And, of course, it's been a horrific week. I think we were all a little numb at Bob's Friday morning political get-together. But I did have a very joyous thing. Jose Andres was just nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for his humanitarian effort in feeding millions of refugees. Very great man.
Great. Good news is always welcome. Anyone else? John, come on up.
I spoke to my sister this morning, and she says hi to everybody. They're leaving for Europe for vacation, so that's nice. This is mainly an announcement. 2 weeks from today, our choir is going to sing again. If you're in that group, then you're reading your emails, then you saw that after the service today at noon, we're just going to do a little practice for the song that we're going to sing. So if you can stick around, and if somebody else is interested in joining us, we'd love to have you. Thanks.
Anyone else?
I don't participate in the Friday morning political discussions because I'm still working, but it's with great sorrow that I've learned of this Supreme Court medieval decision. And obviously it's going to spark a lot of terrible things, but maybe there'll be a good outcome. Maybe people will finally wake up and fight the radical right and just knock off this nonsense that's been going on for the last 40 years.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Chris McGon, and I found out unfortunately this week that a friend of mine passed at a very young age over last weekend, so I just wanted to mention his name, Chris Park, and move a stone for him.
Sorry to hear that, Chris. Anyone else?
Hello again. I just want to say that I love the fact that you guys do Joys and Sorrows, because not every UU church does that. So, we are happy to announce that after 4 years of trying an IVF, we're finally expecting. So it's been a long road. So, thank you.
Wonderful. All good news is welcome. All news is welcome. Anybody else? Well, we always move a stone for those that we care about, worry about, don't mention out loud. Most of us have people like that in our lives. For the meditation, I'll read from one of our founders, we think, Ralph Waldo Emerson, The Oversoul. Let us learn the revelation of all nature and thought, that the highest dwells within us, that the sources of nature are in our own minds. And there is no screen or ceiling between our heads and the infinite heavens, so there is no bar or wall in the soul where we, the effect, cease and God, the cause, begins. I am constrained every moment to acknowledge a higher origin for events than the will I call mine. There is a deep power in which we exist and whose beatitude is accessible to us. Every moment when the individual feels invaded by it is memorable. It comes to the lowly and simple. It comes to whosoever will put off what is foreign and proud. It comes as insight. It comes as serenity and grandeur. The soul's health consists in the fullness of its reception. Forever and ever, the influx of this better and more universal self is new and unsearchable. Within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. When it breaks through our intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affections, it is love. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And now moments of silence. And now, hymn 123 is like our theme song, Spirit of Life. We hum through one verse, we sing a verse, 123, through our masks. Well, we've certainly learned that in the time coming, as if we didn't know, we're going to be needing commitment, conviction, and hard work. And to keep ours going here, we also need generosity. So yes, this is that time. The plates that you are eager to have visit you will now visit you. And thank you for the ushers that I forgot to ask to please take care of that visitation. I found a video that I thought was different. I think it's the Austin, Texas UU Choir. And if you have trouble hearing the words are very simple. Something like, I asked a tree to tell me about God. It blossomed. That's pretty much the whole song, which I hope we will hear soon. No, that wasn't the Austin Choir. That was Chris in the back. Some weeks I feel more out of control than usual. This has been one of those weeks. Now I know I have a beautiful tree behind my house. I need to go out and talk to it and listen to it. My topic today should have been, you better be comfortable with Plan B. Or if you are lying there trying to fall asleep, think about what Plan B you might need tomorrow. I thought I didn't have to do a sermon today because we could zoom in the closing service of the GA of the UUA, the General Assembly of the UUA. We've done that before. It ends with a sermon to be piped to all churches that have the technology. And yes, today there is one for 11 o'clock services. It's being held in Seattle, so the 11 o'clock services are California time. So my topic is why we need the UUA, but not on the West Coast. And this service today has already moved on with Plan B, because dear Jackie informed us weeks ago she was tied up today. So our Plan B became our beloved and devoted Bruce Ruby in Rhode Island. And I had a backup plan for desperate ministers. If somehow the technology failed, like no Wi-Fi in this room, which has happened, then Bruce, my plan is you call me on my cell phone and we all listen to you on the mic here. It might be diminished capacity, but we'd get the idea. What else could go wrong? Wednesday, Karina informed us that she had tested positive. For dear Karina, I thought of chicken soup, but it's a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul. For us, I contacted Chris McGann and cried, help! He said, sure, but I will need a wake-up call. I have 2 daughters older than Chris who would tell him that's one job, I don't mind, and they don't miss. I had one who went off to college and I was afraid she would sleep in herself right out of college and back home. You know, once in a while, a parent gets the fleeting satisfaction of hearing, you were right about that. Of course, it doesn't happen often. So a lot of not planning went into this service and sermon. Nothing says we need Boston and the UUA like the news from the Supreme Court on Friday. We have known for some time that a conservative religious ideology has been taking over the Supreme Court with an eye on all of America. So that has happened. And we need a progressive, capital A, force to undo the damage ASAP. We'll be at the forefront of this fight for the soul and future of our nation. We hear at every 2- and 4-year election that this is the most consequential one yet. We will be hearing that about 2022 and 2024, and it will be true. We will need our national leadership in the government and in the denomination to fight and to tell us how. The civil rights movement has shown us, the women's movement has shown us, the LGBTQ movement has shown us, you have to fight for your rights. And there are people who knew how to take us backward, and they will do worse if we let them. All right, and now the sermon. Boston has a storied place in American history. It was a gathering place for the refugees of the religious wars of Europe. Religious refugees fleeing intolerance have a way of becoming intolerant themselves and creating more refugees. Congregationalism took hold in New England, and Boston and Cambridge's Harvard became a good part of both U and U's roots. Unitarianism and Universalism said hell no to all the hell talk of New England Congregationalism. The late Reverend Dr. Forrest Church's book, So Help Me God, gave plenty of evidence that the Founding Fathers, in their No Establishment of Religion clause, had plenty of momentum in that direction from Calvinist Protestant New England, as well as old, bloody, religious, war-torn Europe between Catholics and Protestants. Established religion usually became the devil it was fleeing. So Boston, as a symbol of historical revolt from tyranny, has itself had a scent of tyranny for folks that want the local congregation to keep its own money, the funds which they had to struggle for. More than once I have heard here and in another denomination, how little can we get away with kicking in and still be considered part of the denomination? Throughout my career, I've heard about members of churches reacting negatively to denominational assessments, askings, and urgings. All the denominations I know are set up with local congregations and district to national bodies to international bodies. And it's all supposed to be reciprocating nurture. The local congregations get support from members and thrive and or starve accordingly. And we send on funds to the district to national representatives for their larger missions and ministries. In every congregation I've had, there have been people who complained, what are the regional groups doing for us except taxing us? It helps when you know that the larger circles of our denomination are doing what we wish we could. So we want and need them to do it because we can't. Two recent actions come to mind that we couldn't have done on our own. We got the call from Reverend Mary Catherine Mourn that the family in Indiantown needed our help. I was hoping to get two other congregations working with us on this, but so far that hasn't happened. That plea came from the UU Service Committee, who works with other agencies to get the help needed. And that can only happen if UUs give financial support. And we have given. We have been fortunate that Linda Shuey has skills and time to help and can't resist a little charmer named Sebastian. Now you can see Sebastian in one of our pictures here. You can also visit the pocketbook and continue our support for the family in Indiantown. The second area of, if we could just find some way to help, was with the Ukrainian refugees flooding Eastern Europe. Again, the UU Service Committee came through with a plea and a plan. They had people, workers in the countries contiguous with Ukraine, the neighboring countries who were getting the refugees, and funds we gave would help those workers, and we gladly gave. It helped knowing the head of that service committee through her brother John, very active among us. For years we have heard, you've heard, think globally and act locally. The district and national leaders send bulletins, webinars, and pleas to guide our thinking globally and our acting locally. Always we have room to disagree about what that thinking and acting should be. One of our principles is democracy in our congregational actions. So we can only hope for consensus. Unanimity happens only in the promised land. We've had some wonderful people here at TCUUC who came to and supported about everything we did, but who would not become members, who would not sign in as members because they thought adding to our membership count also increased the number we could be assessed, or at least asked by the national body. The amounts asked by the national bodies in most denominations are based on what congregations have sent in the past, not the number of members in the present. How do we learn to think globally? Will the internet do that? Oh yeah, it might. It does for some, but it also enables people to find their bubble, their echo chamber, their tribe. And tribalism is alive and growing around the world, and much more alive and growing in the U.S. than we ever knew. The unsung hero for us in the U.S., in my opinion, has been the Southern Poverty Law Center, who for decades has been tracking what the FBI wasn't tracking enough. Militias, patriotism, the Second Amendment, and white supremacy have been and still are quite an American bundle. Militias, patriotism, the Second Amendment, and white supremacy. And now they're hugging our precious flag, and now they have a face. And grievance, however rational or real, grievance has struck a match, and we're going to be living with it for some time. And we have seen that bundle come from all the corners of our country and storm the Capitol and trample whatever got in its way. Now, attention span has proven to be a problem for more than that AD acronym diagnosis. Climate is burning us up literally, but look how much attention it is getting. Who is going to make sure we don't forget the world and fixate on our own local problems? That's what we need the UUA Boston to do. Who's going to drumbeat our connectedness to nature, our connectedness to each other, our connectedness even to the people who just want to wave a flag in our faces with this and that? Who's going to, like a parent, remind us to whom we owe civility when we don't want to? And who owes civility to us when they don't want to? The UUA is big on the issues of racism and white supremacy. Thanks to police body cams and phone cameras, we have seen law enforcement administer injustice pretty unequally. Better police training is the answer rather than community financial settlements with the widowed and orphaned. We've got to learn the inconvenient and troubling realities of racism until we get it in the depths of our souls. And we've got to learn what souls of color have been living with. We tire and shudder hearing what mothers of young black sons fear as their sons go off to school or work. And I know we're sick of seeing the confirmation of that fear in some local news. So I may not want to hear about and think about and do about it the way the UUA prods us all to do. But I've also got to be honest about what my resistance means. So democracy, about discussions of our racist past and present, means we have to help each other see what it hurts to see. Wow. White supremacy is an ogre still with us. And coupled with male supremacy, well, there just isn't a rock big enough for naive reps of that dynamic duo to crawl under. And we may want to say, woke has gone too far. I have said that because I don't want to be left behind as Neanderthal. Let the women of courage who have confronted those beasts and still are, white supremacy and male dominance, tell us of their journey and scars. The pogo truth about litter comes around to bite us on so many fronts. We have met the enemy, and he is us. Boston is a focus of UU history. A number of our founders of the country and founders of the denomination from Boston wanted religion to be reasonable, liberating, and not oppressive. I think when we can be proud of our UU roots and our UU fruits. To tackle these fronts, civil rights of all, gender rights of all, the need to push forward together has never been greater. The closing hymn is number 95. Now, intentionally, I picked hymns today that are pretty familiar to us. And I did that, well, you know why I did that. Number 95, More Love Somewhere. Austin Choir singing again. Should we just sing it? Because we do know this. And we have a choir here. They're itching to come up here and start practicing. I think that's supposed to. Sing this a cappella. Can some of the choir members get us started? Yeah. Why don't you give it your best, and then we'll all join along. Grab a hymnal. It's There Is More Love Somewhere, number 95. And we'll just do the best we can, and we'll get to this because we know this. I know we know this.
Is there a choir?
I think the choir's going to lead us. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. Regina will extinguish the flame as I share these closing words. They're by Emil Gudmundsson, the back of our hymnal. And now may we have faith in life to do wise planting, that the generations to come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality.
There is
put any burden on you, but it's your obligation to keep coming until we become polished and perfect. A super thank you to Chris McGann for helping us today. And to Bruce Ruby in Rhode Island. Thank you, Bruce. We'll need you again. And now let's have some fellowship time in the back. And if anyone has a med to suggest to me, don't hesitate. Thank you.